And good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the 7th of January, 2026. How is everybody doing this morning? I will say 7 days of the new year, and I know I am going to go ahead and, step on my own feet or trip over my own self. I have not wrote 2025 yet on things, and I've had to write it out quite a bit on stuff this week, in these, the 2 days of the year. So I'm super. Yep, those little wins, kids. Those little wins. That's what we're going to celebrate. How are you doing today? And today we're talking about how we can help you, you know, celebrate some wins too. Doing more with less. You don't need to do it all. What are we talking about? ChatGPT 5.2 was launched, what, a week or two ago? And so we're going to talk about ways that you can use it in your business to help you. Now, it's your first time here, a long time here. Guess what? I know who you are, where you're from, what's in the cup, and what the weather is like in your area. If you showed up last night for last night's live, thank you so much for showing up. If you didn't, where were you? We released new colors of our premium stones. That one looks like, what happened here? Things moved over because I'm like, they could sit all nice and neat and not be stacked on top of each other. And that's a little better. So as we go through it, and I'll show the camera. I'm not saying that the TWT 25 code is still good because it didn't get turned off, but I'm just saying you should probably go take a look at it. But there is what do we got there? That is the rose petal pink. Oh, you can see that going. That is the shimmering. What is it? That's the shimmering sunlight. Yeah, shimmering sunlight. That's the crystal, the sparkling strawberry, the deep red wine, the bright citrine is wild, the crystal AB, the sapphire royale. The no, that's the this is sapphire royale, amethyst shade, and the elegant emerald. So go get those. Limited quantities. Testing them out. We're seeing what works. And if anything was last night, it's like they all sold. So that's a good sign. They all sold. There wasn't anything that was like blue. Well, I take that back. The pink blew everything else out of the water. So that is definitely a winner. The rose petal pink. But everything sold. So we were already in talks last night with our supplier on here. What are the next batch that we can bring in? So we're gonna rock and roll through all of those, and yeah, I'm excited how that is. Did I already say you know who you are, where you're from, what's in your cup? Your 5 things that you're gonna accomplish today. For us, we have a lot of vendor meetings today because we've got stuff. If you tuned in last night, we talked about how the main supplier of Flock is kind of ghosting people, so we're not really sure what's there. I mean, we've got thousands of feet in stock, so we're good to go, but we are looking at alternatives because we're not going to, just sit back and wait. So we've got talks with that. We've got talks with Caesar. We've got talks with, we're going to go, I think this afternoon is when we're going to go look at a place. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on there besides DTF that needs to get done, pulling orders, doing all that fun stuff, filling bags because we're bagging and tagging our own bags on these because they were sample ones. So we're seeing what we can do on it. Renee, good morning to you from Chicago. I'm 35, wind chill of 27. I don't even know if we had a wind chill, but it's foggy. Foggy here. Water in the bottle, tea in the mug. 5, deliver orders, update pricing, reply to order request. Yeet paper, year-end paperwork. I was like, yeet paper. Yeah, I just moved out and down a CAD rabbit hole. Good luck with that rabbit hole, Renee. Good luck with it. Keith, good morning to you from the Sunny Space Coast. Repairing the coffee pot. What do you mean repairing the coffee pot? Like, what are you repairing on it? Like, tell me more about this, Keith. What kind is it? Some specialty coffee pot? They we got a bougie daughter who decided she needed an espresso machine for Christmas. I don't know what the hell an espresso machine is. I don't know what the hell's the difference between that and the Keurig. I don't know. Anyway, we got that. We get that. Then a regular coffee pot, and then yesterday she said I could probably get rid of a few of these coffee pots. I'm like, a few? People have few coffee. Like, well, yes. We don't need all these coffee pots. I got the Peach Vibe Celsius. That's what I'm rocking here this morning. Uh, let's see, Barb checking in, North Central Minnesota, 23 and cloudy. Water in the cup, 5 things, invoicing, DTF, customer appointments, patch digitizing, and press settings. Love it, love it, love it. Morning, Linda from Renee. George, good morning to you. Rustling, good morning. At the doctor with my mom. I'll be team replay today, but I'm here. Good to you. Watching the replay, let us know. Let us know what your biggest takeaway from the replay is from it there. Look at Barb calling people hoes. Ho to Renee and ho to Linda. Jeez, Barb, it's a little early to be calling people hoes. Lisa, good morning to you. Is it? Oh, Lisa, Lisa. There. It's Lee, and then I got it. Lisa, good morning to you. Linda, very foggy at 57 tech. It is super foggy here. I don't know in the city. I don't know how many blocks. Like maybe you see 4 blocks. It's foggy, foggy, foggy. And leaving the neighborhood because we have the big fields on the side. It was foggy. 3D print, edit photos, press shirts, post photos online, bookkeeping, UV print. I'm going to add that to your list, Linda. UV print. UV print your logo on something you're 3D printing. Yeah, let's go with that. Kathy, good morning to you. Sunny Cape Coral, right? Cape Coral, right? Cape Coral, Cape Coral, Cape Coral, Cape Coral, Florida. Tasha, good morning. It is chilly here in Ozarks, but on our way to 70. Coffee in the cup, finished Jersey senior cheer session, scheduled dash cam install. Ooh, clean up computer folders and install fonts. Very, very nice. I don't know if we will, because we can make them with it. The problem was Starbucks changed some of their cups, and so it doesn't match all the cups, and that was kind of the big issue. Is like more people complain that hey, it doesn't fit this cup, it doesn't do that, and it's made for one specific cup, and anything more than that, that's when you run into issues with things because it doesn't fit it exactly. So just depends. I don't think it'll be back in here because each one has to be done for a cup. Mary Alice, good morning, Sparky. I can handle Sparky, but sparkling. I can handle sparkling for it. And Chris, good morning to you. So go for home gym, protein coffee, nice. And Chris, presets, work the regular job, shirt job, order stones, calm the brain. Man, there's nothing wrong with calming the brain. And I went down some rabbit holes recently because I talked to somebody and was like, hey, you should do this. And then they did what I said. They're like, it was amazing. They had great sales with it. And this is nothing to do with our industry at all. It was just something I'm like, hey, here's what I seen talking to other people just in conversation. Then I went down the rabbit hole. And that's like now when I just need to like decompress and get work out of it. So I try and find things that are there. So we'll usually go to cooking stuff, mostly barbecue. But now I've went down the card breaker side of things, where people are breaking box cards of football, baseball, F1, soccer, Pokemon, D&D, I don't know, all the different ones. And then I'm realizing, man, some of these people are getting ripped off. I watched somebody last night, $25,000 for a box of baseball cards. And how many cards do you think were in that? Let me know how many cards you think are in that. $25,000 for the box of cards. And I'm going to continue on. I love Armors. What the hell is an espresso machine? Like George Clooney never told me what an espresso was, right? Just I don't know what it is. Uh Curious Clog. Oh, yeah, yeah. I had that happen. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So yep, Keurig, been there, done that for it. Oh, look, it's nice and sunny there in Atlanta. Ooh, that would be nice and sunny there. I love UV stickers. I wish I could get a machine. No, you don't. The maintenance, especially on UV. Um, if if on a UV DTF, the maintenance on it can be a nightmare on it, and you really, $20,000 for a decent one, and you want to buy from a US company just for the support alone makes it worth it, but you want to be doing, at least 50 to 100 feet of UV DTF in a day to make it worth it. Otherwise, order them up because it just the return on investment is just so much on it. Now, UV flatbed, look at the Mamaki. There's a lot of stuff you can do that, and you can do there, and you're in that for about 40, 45. But there's a lot that you can do with that, directly on the things with it. Hey, Jeff from Renee. I missed. Oh, there's Jeff. Morning, Linda, Barb, Renee. Not sure if I'll be in the mentor group as a customer is running late for their appointment. Well, we'll be there for a while, Barb. And I think today's Wednesday, right? Today's Wednesday, so we'll keep it open all day for the books for the mentorship calls. We'll just keep it open because I will hop out of there so we can go get stuff for 4 cards in the box. There was not 4. I will say that it was little. It was more than 4, but not enough for that price. I will go there with it. Yeah, Jeff. Because you got the flatbed, little bit different on it. But and you, Jeff, have the tech support to know the correct swear words to use when talking to yourself and the machine to make it perform functionally properly. A lot of people don't, and then they're like, I don't understand how this works. They'll import something, to save half the cost, and then they're like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. You know how that goes. All right, Nespresso makes a much stronger cup of coffee. We had them in every hotel in Spain and fell in love. You have to like strong coffee. Plus, they have a great free recycle program. Dear to my, what is? Now I don't know. I don't know what that means, Renee. Tell me more. Like, can I? And I'm not like. Can I make cold brew stuff with it? Like, can I make an iced coffee? Like, tell me more. Do I have to, the thing to whip the cream and then put the stuff on? Well, I just want to. I don't know. I'm old man in the yard yelling at the cloud. That's what I'm going with it. So for that 25K, it was 10 cards. It was 10 cards on that. I saw people break boxes of cards that were like $10,000 for it, and there was 5 cards in it. It was wild to see. Hey, people spent $25,000 on this, and did they get their money back? Absolutely not. I have seen one card break in the last 2 weeks where the people made money on it. So it is legit gambling on it. But I love to watch it. Like, man. And I haven't, I collected cards in my youth and through my teen years and in my 20s when I found, when I found other hobbies, they kind of went away. And now I'm thinking, how much that did my mom probably pitch that was could be worth thousands. I do remember Dream Team 96 having all of those and autographs with them, and they were all sleeved up and nice and slabbed, and I don't know what the hell happened to those. I could probably pay for an espresso machine with that. So that way we have it there for it. Yes, they have specific brews for cold brew, tons of flavors and varieties, and there's different ones, right? Right? It's different pods for different things. I know. I'm right there where it's very, very confusing. I need an espresso for dummies, Renee. How about that? Create an espresso for dummies. And baseball card stuff is like, whoa, back up, Jeff. Baseball stuff. I did. Who knew that they had F1 cards, and people are into soccer. Like every sport has cards, and yeah, it's wild to see, and it just sucks me in every single time. Sucks me in on the stuff like Pokemon. I'm like, what? Like how many thou? Is anybody that's in my generation think how many thousands, if not tens of thousands, possibly even hundreds of thousands of dollars that we put in our bicycle tires, we didn't know, put them in there. And now when you're seeing packs of cards that are $10, $15, like holy moly, crazy, crazy, crazy. And Kathy says, I'm stuck. I need a list of things I can use rhinestones on the sell. Any different ideas? As far as, are you looking at apparel or physical goods? Two different products, which one you're doing, and that way we can go from there. If so, I have about 10,000 baseball and another 2 to 3,000 football from when I was a kid. Jeff, just have you went through them? Have you went through them to see what you have? Like, because then I went through the people that are selling the cards and how they do it. And there's the Rico scanner that'll scan both sides of it, and then it'll list it up to the two card things into eBay, and they're doing like 40,000. Like the one, I don't remember the name of it, but they in 2025 they did $50 million in sales, and they're projected in 26 that they're going to do $80 million in sales in cards, and they have 70,000 eBay listings a week. It is, I'm telling you, kids, these rabbit holes I go down, and AI handles a lot of it for them, and that's what we're talking about today. How we can use ChatGPT to help us in it, because as we get into this, as we start this year off, I think a lot of us feel, realize just how tired we are. I mean, not like physically tired, but just mentally. We're tired of thinking through everything all the time. What to post, how to reply to customers, how to explain pricing without sounding rude, how to plan anything without feeling 3 months behind. It's tough. And none of that shows up in the photos that we put up there, the posts that we make, or the stats, but it can weigh on you every single day. So what we're going to talk about today is it's not, AI is the future and we're going to replace you with robots. It's that is not real life, right? I did see the flying car 2020, 2035. They say that thing's going to be at 35 grand. I'll believe it when I see it, but that $300,000 flying car was pretty legit. No, I'm not kidding it, but is pretty legit to see that. Um, so that is it's not real life. Especially for a lot of us that were the home based apparel decorators. You're already doing 12 jobs at once. It's going to be about relief. About maybe taking some of that thinking off your plate so you can really stop feeling like your brain is running nonstop. And even when you're done working. So the other thing that we run into is people, chat gpt, they're like, oh well, this takes all of it, it takes the creativity out of it, I'm not involved in it. No, that's not what it's there to do. It's not there to make you less creative or to be less involved in your business. It's really here to help you stop doing everything the hard way. You still decide, you still can edit, you still run the business. You just don't have to start from scratch every single time anymore, and that's where a lot of this, will come into play on it, is not having to do that. So number one is you can use ChatGPT for captioning emails, because let's be honest, your brain is already full. You know, most of us don't struggle with content because because they don't know what to say, right? They don't We don't struggle with content, right? Most makers don't struggle with content because they don't know what to say. They struggle because by the time they actually sit down to write, they've really already used up all that mental energy for everything else from the day. Orders, messages, product issues, family stuff. It just all adds up. So when you open up Instagram or you go to send an email, what do? You sit there and you see a blank screen and your brain just shuts off. Like, why did I have all these ideas throughout the day? And now when I'm sitting here to do it, I just draw a blank. And then you feel like a failure. But you know what? That's normal. 100% normal with it. And ChatGPT really helps by giving you that starting point instead of nothing. And that alone, that changes everything. When you have the words in front of you, it is easier to adjust them, to invent them. You read it and think, okay, that's close, but I'd like to say this. So now you're editing, instead of creating from scratch, which is way, way easier when you've already used up all your mental capacity for the day. And this doesn't mean that you post more fluff or you sound fake. It just means that you have now stopped avoiding posting altogether. When those captions and those emails really feel doable instead of draining, consistency really stops being such a fight. You're not forcing discipline, you're just removing friction from it. So some examples of this is, decorator hated writing captions, and they used ChatGPT to rough them out, and they went from posting once every couple of weeks to now posting a few times a week without the stress of it. Another shop owner, they avoided email like it was the plague, and guess what? They started sending out short weekly emails, that were with the help of ChatGPT. So when we're looking at things this week, today's Wednesday, we still got a few days left. Can you use, or if you're not, you should use ChatGPT to just draft one caption or in one email using your actual product and audience, and then edit it so it sounds like you. Then post it or send it. Now, the more you do that, the more ChatGPT learns your flow, learns your style, learns what your sound is. It learns about you and what you want, and it starts tailoring your content to it. Mine swears at me because I swear at it. It tells me when it doesn't do things right, when I call it out on things, and it tells me, you have every right to be pissed off at me. You have these conversations with it. It is like having a therapist on the other side of the screen, and it's amazing with it. So, number two is, let's turn customer replies into templates so you're not re-explaining everything. Anybody do that where you're explaining, explaining. you know Customer message, they're not hard. They're not hard because they're complicated. They're hard because the repeat, right? The turnaround questions, the pricing questions, the rush requests, the can you get this done by Friday messages. Answering those same things over and over really does sound simple, but it drains you. especially when you're trying to sound polite and confident and calm every single time. And ChatGPT is incredibly useful for writing those responses once, writing them clearly, and then guess what? You can reuse them. That way you're not rewriting, explanations on a bad day when you maybe shouldn't say something you should, or second guessing your tone when you're already overwhelmed. Your answers will always stay consistent, they'll stay professional, and most importantly, they'll stay confident, right? Even if your energy isn't there. Now, this this doesn't make your business, be cold or robotic. It just makes it standard and steady. It protects your boundaries without you having to, emotionally manage every conversation every single day. And, customers really do respond better to clear, consistent answers than they do rushed or over explained ones. So, some examples of this is a maker used ChatGPT to write a firm but kind rush order response so she could use say no without spiraling and over explaining. Simple, done. Another shop, rewrote turnaround explanations using GPT and saw fewer follow-up questions afterwards. So for this, we just need to pick one customer question that annoys the shit out of you or drains you completely, and then just ask ChatGPT to help, write a reusable response to it. All right. Now, number three, this is one that I think a lot of us can is use ChatGPT to explain pricing without apologizing. All right. Well, pricing conversations they mess with a lot of people, don't they? Yeah. Even when you know your prices are fair, you know, you start explaining and then you start justifying. And then worse, you start apologizing without even realizing that you're doing it. And suddenly, what should have been, a simple quote turns into a negotiation that you did not ask for. And, GBT can it really helps, separate the emotion from the explanation. It can help you write pricing languages that's clear and factual and confident, all doing that without guilt baked into it. When prices, are explained calmly, customers don't feel attacked or they don't feel defensive. They feel informed. And you feel steadier sending quotes, instead of bracing from the pushback that's going to come. Now, let- let's because this doesn't mean that customers will never question prices again, but what it does mean is you won't feel shaky every time you have to send them a reply. And that confidence, that really changes how you respond to people. So some examples for this is a decorator used GPT to write just standard wire pricing is what it is. And they created that paragraph and that's it. They just stop rewriting quotes every time. Here's what it is. Another one rewrote her rush fee explanation so it sounded like a premium option instead of a punishment. So for this step, let's just ask GPT to help explain one price or fee without using, apologetic languages, and then save it so we can use it for there. Now, before we get into 4 and 5, let's get back into it. Jeff said, yes, there are cards for every. I know everything. Um, Physical. I pretty much have all the apparel down. A lot depends on your niche. So, what is your niche? Who are you going to? Because is there products in that niche that you are able to do? Wait for somebody who a lot of their stuff is in the medical field. So when they're blinging things, it's all things with that badge reels, stethoscopes, glasses holders, pens. They do a lot of things, that are upsells that they do on it. Jeff said, probably my cars from 86 to 92 where they made too many cars to make them worth anything. But some of those are coming back. You know why, Jeff? Because everybody stopped the same thing. So there's some that are there. And it's like, oh, yeah, right there. 86, right there with you, Jeff. Uh, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Jario? Ario? How can I make my own template with rhinestones all around it? Use the wizard. Our wizard software will allow you to do that, where you can go in there, you can create a border and add stones to it. Super, super simple. Go to the rhinestoneworld.com. You need to have Corel, but you can get on there and you can download a free trial of our software. 16-day free trial, rhinestoneworld.com. Check out the design wizard, and that way you'll be able to do it. Uh, I think we all did it. There are free versions of it. I'm on paid versions of it. I think, and the paid version is only $20 a month, and I will guarantee you that the amount of time saved returns back on that. On the different things that you can do it. Um, I've been known to, take a picture of stuff in the fridge and say, "What can I make?" And here's a recipe for it. Here, I've got these ingredients. What can I do with it? If anybody knows Corey, she is, I don't- as she has like a fine wine aged. Her palate has less interesting. Is that what I can say? I don't want to say bland because that sounds bad. She's no longer spicy. She has enough spicy where she doesn't want to ingest spicy. So where I can say, "Hey, here's my recipe I do for this. I need to make it less spicy. What can I do in its place?" And it'll say, "Yep, try this or that," or it'll say, "Tell Corey not to eat." But you can do it for anything. We can, take pictures of stuff. Hey, I need a caption for this. Here, what can I do with that? We just did it on something for Corey, and she's like, "Oh, what's that?" There's a lot of times where taking pictures of problems, 3D printer. I'm gonna ask in our mentorship. I think I had nozzle clog, and you guys gotta help me figure that out on it. But taking pictures and asking questions, it's great for that, even at the 20. Yeah, if you go to our website, rhinestoneworld.com, right here at the top, there is kits, and you can go through the kits, and there's various kits in there, from flat back kits or stoning kits where you'll glue to it, to hot fix kits where you're able to, apply them to apparel. So there is a lot. Okay, I won't say a lot. I think there's probably 12 kits that are different in there, depending on what it is. Morning, Tim, to you. And Tim, just getting back from the vet. It's going to be a day, but going to push through. Oh, Tim, I don't want. I saying that last part of it. I I'm guessing it was not good news. That sucks, Tim. That sucks. All right, let's get back into it. Number four, is we can get those content ideas out of our head. Ooh, and what is that? Okay, there it is. We can get those content ideas, without living in our head all day. And what does that mean? Well, knowing that you should post and knowing what to post are two very different things. You know, almost all makers, you're not short on ideas. You're just short on the energy to execute those ideas. And by the time that you think through products and seasons and promotions, and then there's a thing called life, your brain is just your brain is just done making decisions, right? Well, enter our friend ChatGPT. The ChatGPT is great at brainstorming ideas, based on your actual business instead of just some random trends. You still choose what fits. But instead of pulling ideas out of thin air, you're reacting to options. And that shift alone, that lowers stress and makes posting really feel manageable again. When content, stops being mysterious, or this mysterious thing that you're behind on, and starts feeling like you can, pick from, pick up right where you left off, with no stress off. That's a game changer. So some examples of this is a spiritware seller, asked GPT for 30 post ideas based on school seasons and stop skipping posting content altogether. Why? I've got 30 content. I got 30 post ideas. I can do it. Another one used it to turn one product into multiple content angles instead of reinventing the wheel. All right, here we're releasing our premium colors, right? We added 8 new colors to this. So we'll go through and we'll take pictures of it. We'll talk about it. We'll enter that all into ChatGPT and say, "Hey, we want to push this for the month of January. What do we do? What's the content stuff that we need to do?" And you're able to do it. There's so much that you can do just by asking it. So that's the action step, is just ask GPT for content ideas tied to your actual products, not generic trends that are out there. Here's the product I'm working on. What do I do with this? We did, the design that we did last night, hoodies over there, was, the The single AF. I know that's one of the things that we talked about, where the deep red wine when we talked about colors on black, but when we see this and you see the sparkle and all of that, oh, and all that glory, and yes, the design is available on our website, but there's that deep red wine, that is the sparkling strawberry, and then that is the rose petal pink. So we did it on a hoodie for our daughter, not Hattie. She's not wearing that to middle school, but her older one, and for Krista. And okay, let's create some content around this with the idea of pushing sales to stones. So that's what we'll do, and we'll have it created for us. I think that's what we got. Now, number 5 is just plan lightly so you're not overwhelmed before you start. I think that's where people get really hung up on things. It's just feeling overwhelmed with so much with it. You know, uh, planning sounds helpful, but it is planning is helpful until it does one thing. What's that thing? When it turns into pressure. You know, a lot of makers. I'm raising my hand. Remember, all these things that we're doing, we're most of it talking about ourselves here. A lot of makers, they either overplan and freeze, or they avoid planning completely because they just it just feels heavy to them. And so GPT can really help you land in the middle, and give you enough structure to guide you without really like boxing you in. You can use it to sketch out themes and seasons, or loose weekly focuses instead of that rigid daily plan. Doing it this way, planning supports action instead of becoming just another thing that you feel behind on. When your brain isn't holding the entire calendar in your head, you know what you have? You have more energy to actually do the work. And this is what, working smarter actually looks like in real life. Not fancy systems, just really fewer things to remember. So, some examples of this is a maker used GPT to outline monthly themes and then adjusted week to week without stress. Another one, shop, they planned around seasons instead of dates and finally felt flexible instead of being trapped into one box. So, for this action step, let's just ask GPT to help loosely plan 1 month using themes, not tasks. So, to wrap this up, put a nice little bow on it. This isn't like I said, AI is not taking over. You're not hiring robots. You're not doing this. It's just about the ease of it. Chat GPT, helps you stop, starting from zero every single time. It helps you communicate clearly without draining yourself. It helps you explain pricing without apologizing. It can help you come up with ideas without overthinking. And, it can help you plan without overwhelming yourself. It's not about being, trendy or techie. It is really about protecting your energy. And it is constantly evolving, and there's constantly new versions out of it. This is in the AI world. This is the worst that it'll be. I mean, it was worse before, but each day it keeps getting better. So, we're 1 week into 2026, and in 2026, the smartest apparel businesses won't be the busiest ones. They're going to be the ones who stop doing everything the hard way. And, if you take nothing else from this episode, just take this. You do not need to work harder. You just need fewer things fighting for your brain. That's it. That's what we got for you. Questions, comments, concerns, throw those in the comments for it. Friday, what are we talking about? January is a slow season, and it's a slow season on purpose. So what to do, when orders slow down, so you're not panicking in February. And that's what we're going to be talking about on Friday. Also, if anybody is going to Long Beach Impressions, let me know. Corey is headed out there, so she'll be out there for it. We both can't go because hey, we got a new business to run, and there's not people in place to pull orders or things yet. So she gets to go. She gets that's her pay. Is go travel, go to a show. So she's gonna do that. She's gonna visit with some friends. She'll make new friends. She'll talk with vendors, and Yeah, we got some other exciting things coming up. So really, the future of 26 looks great. I think that, and when we look at product line, we got new product lines coming in. We're continuously putting out new designs. I think we counted last night in the next month for Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, or I don't even know if St. Patrick's Day was included in that, but Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Heart Awareness Month, Galentine's Day, Valentine's Day, Black History Month. There's six new themes. There's six themes that'll be there, and probably 40 new rhinestone designs. So we're really, amping up that side of it, and that way, if you signed up last month, you got those 29.99 credits each month. You're gonna have lots of stuff to choose from. So I'm excited about that. And what else? New products coming in, new things coming in. We're gonna keep working, and we got the space. We're gonna look at that today, and I think I'm gonna try and film a lot of it, and because it's phase one, we looked at it. Now we're gonna find all the issues with it. There's a few broken windows. There's a wall that we don't know what's going on with it. There's a lot, and nobody's been in the building for 7 years. I think is what we decided this morning. Nobody's been in there for 7 years. Uh, I cut them really low on rent, and we'll see what we can do. And if there's a deal to be made, we're gonna do it. And then you guys will be along for the process for the build out, and I cannot wait for that. So that's something that, hey, as we go through it, here's weekly vlog style of, yep, here's building, here's what we're doing to it, here's how it is, here's the setup for it. If everything went as planned, I'd say March we would be in there. Maybe ready to go by April 1st. So April Fool's Day. I lied to you. But then that opens up other things, employees, new systems, bringing transfer service online, doing all these other things that, can really, really help with it. Uh, and Kathy said, that is so true. I need to turn off all the other things going through my brain. It is tough, Kathy. I will tell you that. My brain reminds me of like a pinball machine. Things going this way, that way. Here, ding, ding, dong, bum, 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 bum. The beeps, the noises, the that. When I hear a printer, making a noise that I can't get to. When I hear Dirk saying he's thirsty and he's not. When I hear the other machine doing its cleaning when it shouldn't be doing the cleaning. When I hear, I'm like, oh, what's going on? And then I hear those and I think about them. And then while I should be working on one thing, I'm hearing something else. I get distracted while I'm here. And if I don't turn my phone over and then I see notification, like right now in the 38 minutes that we're here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32. Jesus. There's over 50 notifications on here between inbox messages, like actual messages, um, chat messages of their WhatsApp messages, and text messages that have come in. And that's the thing. So I hear those and my brain starts thinking about those. What I've been trying to do is turn my phone over so then I don't see it. There's no sound on it. I don't know until the end of it turned over. But if I have it there, guess what? I see it. Okay, all right, yep, let's go that. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, Jeff, everybody message me and maybe I will get back to you. A lot of it, I will be dead honest with you. I have it filtered out through AI and it maybe get a response or it drops it in a thing. And some of it goes to Corey because she handles the logistics more than I do. She's picking up a big part of the business um, to help source products because as I do this, I'm like, here, can you take care of this and that? And now she's understood my frustration when trying to like anybody that's dealt with, vendors overseas, sometimes it can be hard to get straight answers and you're like, listen, I'm not ordering anything yet. I want to see some samples. I want to know turnaround times and lead times. I want to know all this. I know you can't control shipping, but estimated on this, what are we looking freight wise? It's land, sea, or air, which way is it going? And she's like, this is the stuff you did with overnight. I'm like, yeah, uh-huh, yeah, that's what it is. And she's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, where you ask a question, you get 37 answers to everything else except the question that you asked. Yeah, yeah, buy our stuff. Here's this. No, no, here it is. So, yeah, good times with it. Good times with it. All right. You guys have a great day. If you're in a mentorship community, we'll start that call in about 17 minutes. So we'll be good to go over there. Like I said, we'll keep that open most of the day for you guys to be in that. So you can pop in and out. All right. Otherwise, we do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure to like and subscribe and share and do all those things for our sharing is caring. The code TWT25, it just might stick around all day, at least until the afternoon when I get back and I can go sit down and go through it. So that'll save you 25% off of rhinestones over at the rhinestoneworld.com. Rhinestones, rhinestuds, and flatbacks. So the new premium stones that we just launched, those 25% off using that code. All right. Until next time, you guys have an amazing day. Peace, love, press on, and we will see you then.